Hello, welcome to Wardrobe School. Today I'm going to talk to you about online pop-ups and then we'll do a Q&A if you have questions about this or about anything that you see in my account, things that I can help you with, okay? I'm just going to make sure everything is working. I see that the audio is working, which is great. If you're watching, please say hello, tell me where you're watching from, and we'll get started, all right? So I'm gonna share with you why I came up with this concept of online pop-ups, what it is, how you can do it, and I think it's very helpful to you if you're trying to sell your stuff, if you're selling your creations or products, and it's been hard for you to keep up with the website and all. So stay tuned, okay? I think, let me see if I'm live there. Yes. So please leave a comment, say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Because I know I have a lot of people like from all over the world. I always like to know where you're watching from. All right. I have the comments here and I'll keep the Instagram open. Hi, Lulu. Oh my God, how are you? Lulu, I was thinking of you the other day. Yeah, so it looks like everything is good, so we can get started. So basically, what it is that I keep talking about that's online pop-up, right? Online pop-up is very much like doing in person but online. You know, I do markets a lot and I've done pop-ups at other stores. I've rented the place temporarily, which is also a pop-up, right? There's many ways to do online, like in-person pop-ups when you just like, it's a temporary thing, right? And it's good because it's temporary. So, you know, I've also had stores for all the time, you know, open all the time for years. And I realize when you sell for a short amount of time, it's better. You do better. It's better for yourself, for your mind, and also for the return that you get. And because I've done also course launches and all, and we'll talk about this, I figured like one day I was sitting at my house and I was thinking like, why not do a pop-up that's online? And then during the pandemic, I see people doing shop drops and stuff. So it's all mixed, you know, it's an idea that it all works together. Um, Good to see you too, Lulu. And so, you know, the good thing is it's very good for like handmade people who sell their creations, for, you know, crafters, artists, and also for business that have small quantities of stuff, right? So if you have like a small business, and you can do, even if you have a lot of products, you can do that for promotions, for sales, for any other different process that you know, you want to sell something. It's just the strategy works well, and that's what I'm going to share with you. At the end of this, you can ask questions. If you say hello during the live, I will talk, but I'll try to answer questions at the end, okay? If you're catching the replay only, you can leave the comments here and I'll respond. And you can also join me next week because I'll always have the Ask Vania videos every week, so then I can help you with questions you have, all right? So, um, and then you think like, oh my God, online. I know a lot of artists hate doing any techie stuff, or not all artists, but a lot. Because all you want is to be, you know, doing things quiet, listening to the podcast or music and not talking to anybody. And I know that when you get into the flow, and it's amazing, but we also have to survive, right? So if you were trying to like quit your job, do what you like, sell what you make, so then you can make a living for that, from that, or if you want to, you know, have a side hustle, something that you sell the stuff you make, because let's be honest, we keep making a lot of stuff, and what are we going to do with it, right? Unless you don't want to sell and you just donate, give to people, that's fine. But if you're trying to sell and it's being difficult, or if you want to start, this strategy is amazing. And I use, you know, my strategy uses a website, email marketing, and social media. It could be Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Instagram and TikTok are the best ones, and I do via Instagram. But you know, if you have Facebook or if you have Twitter, other sorts of social media that you have a following, that works as well. But I know people are not techy and they don't like marketing and they just avoid as a plague, right? But it can be simple. That's the thing. You know, if you follow me and if you know my process of sewing and teaching things, I like to keep simple, and I like to make things like the bare minimal, so then you get results from not much, effort, because we need time to work on our stuff. That's my whole life. I try to do the least possible everything else, so then I can have extra time to be sewing and making things, upcycling, embroidering, right? And so you don't really need to be very techy. You just need a very simple website, a very, an Instagram that is active. Or so when I say Instagram, just keep in mind any social media, and then an email list. And you might not have an email list, and you might not have following on Instagram, but you can grow that. And so I'll share with you ideas here. Okay, I have my cheat sheet here so I can see everything that I have to say. Okay, so this strategy is pretty similar to shop drops, okay? But it has more to it than just a shop drop. I see that the makers on Instagram, in 2020 started, like a lot of people started doing this, and I find amazing because then people can expect to get the drop, right? Shop drop, what's shop drop? If you don't know, I have videos on Instagram, but just so we're on the same page, a shop drop is when you uh, have new arrivals, basically, right? For instance, when I had my store in Brooklyn, every Friday, and that was my brick and mortar store, right? Every Friday, I brought, or I dropped, drop it off, new pieces. So all week would work, but I had the seamstress, I had assistants and all. So we had the studio, and then we'll in Greenpoint, and my store was in Williamsburg. So then we'll work all week, and then by Friday morning would like iron, have everything ready, tag everything. Sometimes we put tags at the store, but basically we did as much as possible at the studio. And then Friday, end of the day, I would drive there. I didn't even have a car at the time, but I would take a taxi there. They didn't have Uber at the time. So then I would go and drop new arrivals every Friday. And so that was a drop, but in person, right? And what is good about this? And I know that from experience because I had the store for many years. And every time you have new arrivals, it makes the store fresh. And then my sales girl would just like redo everything. And like, we clean the store. So for the weekend, the store is fresh with new stuff. And what happens is the old stuff would sell as well, some of the old pieces, because the store was fresh. There's some psychological thing that when you have new stuff, people like, and they feel it's more sparkly, and so it sells better. Okay, now with the online, there are two ways. You can have your old stuff always on your website and do those drops just as an add-on and to freshen up the shop, or you can do sales, or you can bring new types of products or something like that. And or you can close. So the way I do it's closed. It's pretty much like doing a pop-up. So there are two different ways. You can have a shop and then drop new things, or you can just have your store closed and do pop-ups just like you do fairs and things like that, just like I do now. Why is good for artists and handmade people, people who do handmade, is because I know, as I just said, how precious is the time that we have to make stuff. It's really hard. Like I was talking to my student today, she's like, I only have 3 hours a day to sit down and do sewing, right? And then makes me feel very privileged because I have a lot of hours a day to do things, to be sitting here in my studio, right? But not everyone does. So say you have only 3 hours a day, and if you sell all the time, if you have your website open all the time, there's customers asking questions, and you have to be shipping stuff, and you have to be, and every time when it's something, at least me, I don't have everything 100% finished every time. So I post on Instagram, but it's, it still needs a tag. It still needs to cut threads or iron or something. And if it's all mixing all the time with my production, it makes me crazy. So it's pretty much like, if I only had 3 hours, those 3 hours would be gone, like trying to deal with everything. So that's why the pop-up is great, because then you just focus on those days. I pretty much do 5 days drop. The pop-up would be the drop. And then for the rest of the month, I don't worry about. So I drop for 5 days, and I ship everything in 2 days, and that's a week. And the rest of the month, I'm just doing production. I haven't dropped much because I've been selling on person and like that. But when I do launches, a course and stuff, that's pretty much what it is. You work the marketing for a week and you're done, right? Then you can do the production. So we talked about the shop drop. handmade people, a lot of people, handmade people, the upcyclers, the sewists, they're doing this. And so the audience waits for them and they compete because we do one of a kind and everything is so special. People who do like quilt jackets, for instance, they take the quilts apart as antique quilts or old quilts and they make those coats. Everyone knows that they have only one because it's one quilt that some amazing woman made like 50 years ago, and then this person bought the quilt, and then they cut the quilt, make the coat, and that's only one, right? So everyone who is following, they're watching and they're ready to shop on the day of the drop. That's why it works, because it's kind of a competition. It's pretty much like online auction, not online, but art auction. It could be online or in person as well. You know how like there's one Warhol to sell, that one that he made that day, whatever. So everyone's competing for that. That's pretty much what you do when you do drops. What I've done with my process that I called online pop-up is because I mixed, as you know, I sell online courses, and for the last 10 years, I've been practicing and learning and doing this process for me and for other people. That is the launch thing. So you do a launch for a week, you launch a course. And that's the process I mixed with, and that's like crazy online marketing that I bet most of you don't like, don't even want to hear. But I like that. For some reason, I really appreciate the online marketing. I just find I think it's because I grew up when I was a kid. I always thought like, if everyone in the world would give me $1, I would have, how many millions I would have. And now we have the internet and you can reach all these people. Not that I'm getting $1 from each person, although it would be cool. But I always thought about that growing up. And then when I realized that, wait, with social media, we can reach those people and you can sell to everyone everywhere. I love it. So then, I'm here to translate to you, artists, what the gurus, the marketing gurus do. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay. So, so I took that I've been learning since 10 years ago, and then I mixed with the shop drops, and it's a perfect combination because what I added to it is the email marketing and the way that I do. So like I close the shop, right? Or if you don't want to close, you can just leave it open, but you use the same strategy. And I'm going to explain to you how it works. Are you there? Are you listening? Is this helpful? Let me see here on Instagram. All right, cool. So then, yeah, and I put a note here for you to have an idea, right? Where this all came from. I don't know who came up with this. There's a guy called Jeff Walker who created the product launch formula, and it is a process that you do, launches, and it's very cool. And he's this older guy who's been doing this for a while. But as an example, if you think about how, and then the first it comes, so it's a range of people doing similar strategy, and the handmade upcyclers, handmade artists and stuff, they do the shop drop, which uses a little bit of that. But then, on the other side, there's Apple, for instance. When Apple is going to release the iPhone or any new products, you see how they tease you for months or for weeks before. And then there's the day of the drop, right? And it's a similar process, which is different than when we sell stuff, when we don't think about that. You just be there like sitting, you put everything on the website and you wait for people to buy, and then everyone's bored and they be like, I'll buy tomorrow, but they never buy. So when you do that, you kind of conduct, hi Bree, you kind of conduct the people to do, you like tell them what to do, and they go and they shop. So that's why you get them excited, and then you tell them the day they're going to be able to get their hands on your product. And that's, so Apple is like the big company doing it, and then on the other side, the upcyclers. But then Hollywood also does that, when they're going to drop a movie. You go to theater to watch another movie, and they're talking about the movie this fall coming soon. They're like exciting people. So it's this anticipation they put out, right? And it's all similar to that. So, don't feel bad. This is marketing stuff, but it's if we as artists don't do that, like we'd never sell to people, and then the corporations always win. So we have to get a little bit of their strategies and apply to our stuff so we can win as well, right? Because I know a lot of people are like, I don't like to do that, I don't like to send emails. But like, if you don't do it, then you don't get anything, right? So, and so how you can do pretty much you the first thing you do is to have the email, right? So you have to move people from your social media to the email. Why? Because social media, you know how it is. Are you traumatized by social media? I am. When you post something and you have a bunch of followers and like three people see it, or like I post in stories and like 50 people see it, you know. So it's not under you cannot control that. You have no hand, you have no access to control when you just depend on social media, regardless if it's Instagram or TikTok. For instance, I have a TikTok that's reaching almost 10,000 followers. And I post there, and sometimes I'll post something and it goes 200 people, 200 views. Then yesterday I posted something, it was 5,000 views. The other day it was 100,000 views. The other day it was 100 views. So it's not, and it drives me nuts. So the only thing I can do, I can cry and be mad, or I can just ignore, keep posting, and then ask people to join my email list, because then I can email them. And once they give me the email, one thing is when people follow you because they just want to lurk and they want to see what you're posting. And the other thing is when they give you their email, because then they're interested in hearing from you. It's like if I give you my phone number, I'm allowing you to call me, right? I want to hear from you. So it's different. So when you are on the list, not all emails you send are going to make people happy, but they allow you to email them and you can reach out to them. If they want to unsubscribe, that's fine. You know, it's a free country, it's a free world, kind of. So it's okay, right? But the thing about the email is you can reach people. It depends only on you, and it depends on them if they want to open or not. So it's between you, open the email, right? So as the case is between you and the person. It's not between you, Zook in the middle, and then the person. You know what I mean? So that's why the first step is move people from your social channels everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, to the list. And then with the list, you can do the drop. And I see a lot of beautiful creators, of people who do amazing creation on Instagram that have 100,000 followers. And lately, I've been watching, and in 2020 it was like that boom of people doing drops and all this stuff. 2021, okay, now because the algorithm keeps changing so much, all these people, the people don't are not getting the same sales anymore, because even though they grew this following so big, people don't see their posts. So what's the point of making a drop and no one seeing it, right? That's why I move people to the email. Then there's a campaign, and I have the course, the online shop blueprint, where I share the process, all the words and everything, but you can figure it out on yourself as well. So you just basically, what you have to do when you're gonna do a pop-up, you have to let people know that will happen in a certain amount of time, and I would do like 10 days, a week in advance. So then they expect you to do the drop, and you do often, right? And you have to do many times. Don't think like if you do once and then it doesn't go as well and you get depressed and you don't do it again. You got to do it, because the more you do, the more you grow. The more you grow your following, the more you grow people who are, the group of people that are interested and will shop. Okay. So step one is start moving people from the Instagram or social media, TikTok, to email list. Then you have to prepare the email campaign, and then you do the drop or the pop-up, and you can do like once a month, every 6 weeks, or something like that, or like 3 months, something that is okay for you to do. As much, if you take, some people make very intricate stuff, takes longer. Artists, for instance, if you're painting or if you're creating things that are more, takes longer, then you can do every 3 months, 2 months, or something. But keep in touch with the list. Once you move people from the social to the list, keep in touch with them. Don't abandon them. So then, they'll be participating. Okay. And you can do a sneak peek. One thing is good to do as anticipation, right? So because say like, you drop next week, you have to show them what it's going to be. You don't have to show everything, but you can show at least some stuff that you're going to drop. So then they get excited. They've been watching your socials, but not everyone is watching the socials. So when you communicate via email, show them what is going to be in the drop, what is coming soon, what alternatives they're going to have, what options, right? So that's important. So anticipation and sneak peeks. And then, move. And then if you don't, Okay, so then, and then you keep growing the social. One thing I want to say that I was not even going to put in here, but is because you probably be wondering, like, but I don't have followers. I know some people are stuck at like 200 followers forever. You can boost posts to grow your following. And that's something else that I wasn't about, it wasn't something that I want to talk in this video. We can talk about this in another live, but like a way to grow is that to grow certain posts, to boost certain posts on your social, so then you get more people, new people, right? So new followers. And some of the people who find you, if they like, if you have like cool products on your feed, then they'll sign up for the list. And there's a process, but you have to have that link on your bio so people can sign up for your list. Okay, so have a link in the bio, get people to sign up, then move them to the email, and then the email, you do the campaigns and you do the drops, and then you make the sales, close or finish the drop, work for a month or 6 weeks, then do another drop. And in this meanwhile, you just keep like in touch with people and keep posting your process, you know, your creations, your ideas and stuff, so people get excited about your next drop. Okay. And to end this, I'm gonna see if you have any questions, but then I'm gonna give you a tip, that something that you can do this week, next week, that's easy. You don't even need any tech or anything. All right? Okay, if you have questions later, you can just leave it here. So, what you can do, and that's what my student Yesenia did. She was about to do the drop, but she couldn't put all the websites together or anything. And by the way, you can have any website. I have a Shopify, but you can have like a Wix that's very easy to do, or Squarespace. Any shop, online shop that you have, there is a separate place that you can sell from. Okay, it doesn't need to be special or anything. The thing about Shopify, the reason I recommend Shopify is because once you get bigger and once you get more, you're gonna do like more strategies that are like more complicated, right? No, you can do that forever, but if you want to do like put a pixel on your website that, you know, track people to retarget them, that's another conversation you might want to talk about now. But if you want to do that, it's good to have Shopify, because Shopify is already ready for all that, right? And I know other sites have other problems, but Shopify is really perfect for e-commerce and has easy ways to build. I know the themes and all things like that is very easy. So, you know, that's why I recommend starting. If you're going to start from the good one. But if you don't want to, go for Wix or other, you know, Squarespace and all that, okay? And here's a tip for you to do before. So if you don't have a website and you want to try this, do via Instagram, do via stories. So you do the same process. You're not going to move people to emails. You're going to connect them there. And you can even do via WhatsApp. I don't know if you use WhatsApp or Telegram. You can build a group. You can say, make a post on Instagram, do lives, put stories, and say, look, next week I'm going to do my first drop via stories. And I want to, if you're interested, join this channel on Telegram or Voxer or something, that I'm going to let you know when I drop. And you do that, and in a certain day next week, and every day you tell them the drop is going to be, let's say, Thursday. And then on Thursday, you drop on stories. You let them know how to shop, if they should Venmo you or PayPal, or, you know, some way that you have to get payment. I think Instagram has a way to get payment, but I never messed with that. I don't know if that works. I think PayPal and Venmo is perfect. And you just do via stories, and you can do 24 hours, and then you do next day, and you can do 3 days and see how it goes. Yesenia did that. She had 6 items. She sold 2 items, and it was amazing. Okay, so it doesn't hurt. It's a little bit of work, and at least you try and see how it works. And the next time you can do the whole thing if you want. Okay, but the most important part is take people from the socials and bring them to your email list, because that's what's gonna last for a long time, probably forever. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, leave it here. I'll respond. I can make little reels as well to respond to your questions, okay? And yeah, so I'll see you next week. I'm trying to do live videos every day. I think next week I'm not going to be able to do every day, but I'll be live a lot, so you can chat whenever. All right, and always look at my stories because that's where I put the, what do I say that? On stories where I announce what time is my live gonna be. And also on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube because you see there, you can just place a reminder when you see, if you're interested on the subjects that I'm gonna do the live with. Okay? Thank you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.